Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever and wherever you may be listening. This is Southern Gospel Point of View Podcast. I am James, and I am but one of thine hosts today. With me, all the way from Sevierville, Tennessee, I've got Mr. Forgetful Freddy. You know him as Reggie Taylor. Reggie, how you doing, brother?
Well, I will say this. I am too blessed to be depressed.
You're pushing it, though, today, aren't you?
But I'm starving, man. And it's all your fault. So if I die, I want somebody investigating you.
Okay, so let's open the show, and then we'll talk about why you're starving, okay? How's that sound? All right, guys, we do have an exciting show. We did an interview with all the guys from Tribute Quartet last week. Let's see. Actually, it was week before last. It was 2 days before their album release, and our schedule has been all kinds of crazy. We've not been able to get together. So some of this is just a few days old, but all in all, it's still pretty fresh. So we're going to talk for a few minutes, then we're going to go right into that interview and let you listen to that. I think you'll really enjoy it. We had a good time with the guys, didn't we, Reggie?
Oh yeah, it was awesome, man. I mean that was a tremendous interview with each one of those guys. They're funny. They are.
They
funny.
are. They are. And you know, something that I like is, you know, we try our best when we do an interview to either ask the same question to everyone that we talk to, so we get a kind of a broad spectrum of thoughts, or we ask pretty unique questions.
Yeah.
And so I think that there were some generic as well as some unique questions in there, because Reggie and I both have the same mind. Like, what is it like behind stage? What is it like in the recording studio? What is it like on the bus all day with just a bunch of guys? And so those are some of the things that we may talk about on there. And listen, we want to hear from you. So if you're listening to this, please, first of all, please subscribe. If you just happened on it, subscribe. If you're go to our YouTube, you can watch the video, but subscribe to our YouTube channel, share the video, share this podcast, tell your friends. If you have some comments, leave us a text message or a voicemail, either one, at 865-315-7996. Now, if you want us to play your voicemail on air, let us know that. We'd love to hear from you, okay? So keep all that in mind. You could email us to our email address. I'm James at southerngospelpov.com, and then Reggie at southerngospelpov.com. So, Reggie, tell us, my friend, tell us why you're hungry. I feel like this is going to be a back and forth thing.
Yeah. Your fault. That's why I'm hungry, and I want everybody to know it. No. It's where we were, you've been, and I'm very proud to say, and I'm very proud of James. And I hope it's okay to say, but of what you've been doing and
Sure.
how much you've lost, if that's okay.
Sure.
But James has lost 30 pounds, and man, you look good, brother. You look really good.
Thank you.
And so me and James always talk about our weight and what we need to do and things of that nature. And so you started doing what intermittent fasting is what you have been doing. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you walk every day, and now you've got it where you run some. I don't even know if I'm gonna even get there, because I'm gonna land somebody's yard or ditch or something. Somebody's gonna have to come get me.
It got to that point yesterday. I was ready just to fall out.
So I've got to do something. I've messed up my shoulder, and I've been to the doctor 3 different times. My blood pressure's gotten is high, so I decided, all right, I need to lose some weight, get it going on, and I need to not tone it down some. So started yesterday with your stupid intermittent fasting. and I'm about to die.
Yeah. The first week, Reggie, I'm not lying. At least the first 3 days, if not the first 5 days, they were rough.
Hmm.
But I told you my workaround with that, and this may not work for everybody because some folks they get a little taste and then they fall off the wagon. But my kryptonite is chocolate,
Hmm.
and those little Andes mints.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
So I asked my wife to buy a pack of those, and so she did. And when I got to craving something, and I was like you, I was just about to lose my mind, I'd go and I'd get me one of those little paper wrapped Andes mints. I'd suck on it for a little bit, kind of enjoy it, and then chew it up, and I was good to go. So, or a piece of hard candy, I'd do the same thing. And so that kind of helped me through it. But you mentioned that running. I lost 30 pounds, and you're going to fluctuate through all that.
Oh
You're
yeah.
you're going to lose and gain, and so that's kind of disappointing, discouraging, but just be patient with it. But I decided I would wait until I lost 30 pounds to start trying to run again because my wife and I used to run. We've ran several 5Ks through the years. And matter of fact, I think we've actually run 6 or 7 5Ks. And so in the last 10 years, it's just been constantly eating unhealthy and had all kinds of weird times. So yeah, it's a journey, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But if you stay with it these first 3 or 4 or 5 days, I guarantee you'll start seeing success. So keep it up, Bubba. Keep it up.
Oh, I'm going to try. I want to try, but I can't do the whole candy thing like you do because I will ask my wife to buy me some candy,
Yeah.
and she will buy it. She will do that for me, and I appreciate that. But she better hide it because the first piece of candy I get, I may eat the whole bag and the bag
Yeah. Yeah. I
because I'm
have
like,
I have an
ah,
addictive personality myself, so that it takes the Holy Ghost and a whole lot of willpower
buddy, I'm too.
to be able to do that. So, but congratulations though, for real. You're 2 days in and you've
Yeah,
not quit yet. So
no, no,
that's good. So you're in the right direction, Bubba.
I'm going that way, but I may have to go down here and jump in this river behind my house so I can get my mind back and mind right.
Yeah,
The
with
real
it.
test is tonight, though, when I go to work for UPS. So that's the
Oh
real
yeah.
test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. I don't know. A lot of people have Sunday nights and Wednesday night church, and
Yep.
the way it is with us is we always go out to eat on those nights. And I think I told you again yesterday that, or the day before, um, it is very difficult to sit there because it's past your time. My cutoff for eating anything is 7 o'clock p.m. And so on Sundays and on Wednesdays, usually, lunch is my last meal. And so sitting there while everybody else is going to Chick-fil-A or something like that on Wednesday nights and then going to Mexican or wherever on Sunday nights, it's kind of rough, but it's worked so far. So,
Well, I mean, either move a church service time or something. I'd be like, look, preacher, I'll be there, but I'm gonna be late. I gotta stop and get something to eat before 6.
no,
So I know this is gonna be my test because we normally now I think I'm gonna do the whole 8 o'clock, like
yeah,
because you eat at 11, right? Or 12,
11 or 12.
and then you don't eat after 7. So I'm mine is gonna be 8 because I just because of better timing on
Yeah,
my part. But here, the problem is at UPS we have a 10-minute break between things, which I'm only gonna have to do this for 2 more weeks, and then I'm home. I can fix it. But our 10-minute break is right at 7:45, and I'm like, dude, come on, man.
yeah,
So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get around that. Do it a little later. I mean, do it a little earlier. That way, I don't, because if I don't eat something and then go back to work, or well, I guess it ain't gonna matter right now. But I probably just fall over and boxes will fall on my head. I don't know, but
You'll have a whole nother issue to deal with, right?
yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, hey, I want to play a little snippet from I guess just kind of a promo thing that Gary Casto did about their new single from their album. It's Halfway Up the Mountain. And so I want to play that, and then we'll take just a minute or two and get right into the interview. Sound good with you, Bubba?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Our very first single that was written for Tribute Quartet off of our brand new project, Always Grace, is titled Halfway Up the Mountain. It was written by Mr. Wayne Hahn, Mr. Joe Lindsay, and Mr. Jeff Bumgarner. What a song it is. It's a song of encouragement. It just simply says, keep pressing on, though the road may be long. But when your feet get tired, just keep walking on. You see, friend, sometimes it's hard to get all the way to the top of the mountain. Sometimes we want to throw in the hat and say we just cannot do it anymore. But we have a Heavenly Father that will walk beside us. Matter of fact, He will get behind and push us to get to the top of the mountain. It's easy to praise Him when we're standing on top of the mountain looking back at everything that we've been through, but it's not easy as we're climbing that mountain. So can I encourage you today to keep pressing on. Don't just go halfway up the mountain, go all the way to the top. And when that happens, victory takes place.
Hey folks, this is James from Southern Gospel Point of View. I want to remind you we have been using Anchor.fm on our show for some time now. And just in case you haven't tried it, go download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started. Listen folks, it is free. You're able to make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, but also they will help you distribute it. So go check them out, Anchor.fm. So there you go. He kind of sets their new single up there, and he does a great job. I encourage you also to go to YouTube, type in Tribute Quartet, go to their channel, and go ahead and subscribe, by the way. But when you're there, look at their shorts that they've been doing for the release of Always Grace. And they called it the Grace Chronicles. And they always start off serious, but then they end up turning sideways. And usually Josh Singletary has some sort of a hand in the silliness there. So I always think those are pretty neat. But Reggie, listen, we've got some big things hopefully coming up. We're wanting to do an interview with an author down in a place that you go on vacation, Gulf Shores or Orange Beach, Alabama. And Reggie, you've gotten your book now and you're halfway through it, right?
Yeah. Listen, don't mess with me, man. I ain't eat no food, so
So I have been telling Reggie for a month to go buy this book or to rent it on Audible or anything like that, to go to the library. They're free, and he could check out the book. And Reggie has yet to do that.
I'm going. I'm going.
Yeah, that's like the fifth time you've told me you're going. And so I'll go ahead and give everybody a heads up. This now, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I encourage you, go look up Andy Andrews. Where's all of his books at?
See, you don't even have it. You just told me you did.
No, they're all over there. I just reorganized my
and
bookshelves,
it looks very good, sir.
And I don't know where anything is. So Andy Andrews is the author. He's written Isle of Saints or Island of Saints, The Heart Mender, The Traveler's Gift, The Noticer Returns, Just Jones. Those three are all kind of, a series. with the Traveler's Gift, the second book of that, actually, they have a supplemental book called The 7 Decisions that comes out of that book. And then you can read The Final Summit, The Lost Choice, which is an excellent book, by the way. And he's got The Bottom of the Pool. That's another book. That's more of a business type book, how to kind of get ahead, I guess you might say. But
Yeah.
Reggie, I've told you the two books that I really would like for you to get is The Noticer and or The Traveler's Gift. And The Traveler's Gift, I think, will do something for you. By the end of that thing, I'm sitting there like, oh, hey, let's go. And then same thing with The Noticer. I sat there in awe just thinking about all the stories throughout the book. He's an excellent writer, author. He's a humorist. I mean, he's a good guy. Next time you go to Orange Beach, you're going this year, aren't you?
That is the plan. Yes.
Yeah, you need to go and meet him. He's there in town, and he's got a store, and he does YouTube videos every single day. So,
Oh, really?
you should go meet him while you're there. Yeah.
I will then.
All right. So, how about we get into the interview, and we'll come back and close the show right after this. This year, you guys as a group are celebrating 17 years. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Starting our 17th year.
Okay. And so in those 17 years, and I know it's been a long 17 from what I understand, just being with Josh for that long, but I'm just trying to be a blessing, Josh. Is there a single
again? My bad. Sorry.
Is there a single highlight in those 17 years that you think you can put a marker on? Just a single one, maybe for each of you. I know, Gus and Ian. I know that you're not 17 years with these guys, but still, even in your time.
Sometimes it feels like 17 years. That 17 years just flew right by for me.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of great moments, a lot of great places that we could go and to be able to minister. And probably one of my highlights was just a few years ago. We're part of an organization called Kids for School, and they're based out of Northern Ireland. And we build schools in Tanzania, Africa. And so we were able to spend about 9 days in Tanzania, Africa, and going into the villages, singing at their churches and singing in the villages and spending time with those kids. We played ball with them. We helped feed them. It was just an amazing experience to realize. It made me realize how thankful I need to be for what we have. It was life-changing. You hear a lot of people use that sometimes a little lightly, life-changing, but I will say this, it was life-changing for myself, and I would say for Josh and Tribute Quartet.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. If you were asking one from each of us, there's no question. Dodoma, Tanzania really made really put a mark in my life. And working with kidsforschool.org was just an amazing experience. They provide food and they provide clothing, they provide supplies for the kids, for them to go to these schools, and it's just it's a fabulous thing, and you really don't get the entire thing until you go and you see it firsthand.
Right.
It really is amazing. You really become thankful for what you have.
So all of you as a group were able to go?
No, it was just the two of us. That was back in 2018, I believe. 2017.
Okay. All right. Excuse me. I got you.
The funniest thing about that trip was I thought, when you hear when you go to Africa that the weather is just so hot, you're going to be miserable.
It was in the 80s.
It was in the 80s, but in Nashville, Tennessee, it was in the high 90s.
Yeah.
So it was hotter back at home than it was.
We were actually there for their winter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was their winter. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah.
Anybody else want to chime in on that?
Well, I will say this, for my time with Tribute, one of the most rewarding things that I have experienced in being here has been directly related to what y'all do, because it has been amazing traveling to these different places and singing songs. We work really hard to try and find stuff that moves us, and we feel like if it moves us, it will move the people that we sing to, and traveling to these places and hearing and watching people sing along with us because they're familiar with the material. And then on top of it, to go to the table and have them come up and share stories with us, how these songs have affected their day-to-day existence, and how it's encouraged them. And that's an incredibly humbling thing to have happen, so that was the level that has happened with Tribute is something I've never experienced before. And that's been a real blessing for me and for my house. I go home and I tell my wife and my kids about every one of those because it's a reminder to them
why you're away.
The reason that we're doing what we're doing.
Exactly.
And so it's a really cool thing.
Exactly. Ian, do you have anything?
Well, sure. I'm starting my third year with the group, and I think something that's really stood out to me is this past weekend we got to eat at Whataburger twice. Pretty exciting. No, in all seriousness, and not to sound silly, but I told Josh, Gary didn't believe it for the longest time, but I told Josh about 12 years ago now that God had put it in my heart that one day Tribute was going to be my home.
Oh,
and,
wow.
I'm supposed to be here and supposed to be part of this family, and not, at the expense of anyone, just that was going in my heart. And so just the general fact of me getting to be here and be part of this team and be home, that's what's most special to me.
Wow. And so then we all say, "Aw."
Oh.
No, that's really good. That's really good. So I'm going to kind of follow up on that. So you're 17 years now, and you of course have had some highlights. You've had some, if I could say it like this, some lowlights. But looking forward, I mean, you're coming up on 20 years, and Ian, you said you've been there for 3 years. You're starting your 3 years.
Starting my third. Gus is starting his fifth, and I'm starting my third.
It seems like just maybe 3 months ago that you guys jumped on board. So that's amazing. But what do the next few years look like to you guys as you're approaching 20 years?
Well, we have a lot of ideas that we want to do, things that we want to do as a ministry. But the main thing that we have prayed is God just, take our boundaries to wherever you want them to be. Allow us to do what you want us to do. And if that means to travel more internationally, whatever the case is, we're willing to do it. We're talking about a really cool new Christmas project. We're overdue for that, and so we're in discussions about that. And then this new album that we're releasing tomorrow, we're just so thrilled about it. A lot of folks don't realize how many songs that we listen to, but we listen to over 500 songs a year to bring 10 to the folks. And that's my favorite part of the recording process. I could listen to songs every day and try to narrow them down. And that's what I do, and bring them to the table to the guys. And then we bring them to the record company, our Daywin family. And then we and our producer, Mr. Wayne Hahn, and decide what 10 we're going to bring. And it's a great thing to be a part of.
Okay.
Is there a favorite song on the new album that y'all just like, that just hits and says, man, this is such a great song, and it's a great testimony or whatever to you? Is there a specific song?
Yes, all of them.
I understand. We're going to say the same thing.
Yeah, to be quite honest, I think we all probably have a different song on that project that ministers to us. And I'll let the guys tell what song theirs is. But there was a song written by Mr. Jim Brady, Mr. Rodney Griffin, called "That's Trusting God," and I brought it to the guys. And if there's anything that I've learned over the last few years, going through the COVID period, as the manager of the group, is to I had to have trust. There was times that I thought, oh my goodness, how can we keep going? But you know what? God never failed us. He always provided everyone. No one missed a paycheck. All through those years, nobody missed a paycheck. We were able to move forward. And so when Jim and Rodney sent this song and said, I think this song is for you guys, as soon as I heard it and I played it to the guys, they said, okay, that's for you, Gary. That's your song. And so that's probably my favorite song.
Yeah, and it's definitely meant for you. I mean, right from the beginning, every one of us heard it. It was like, gosh, if anybody needs to be telling this story, it's Gary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it would be one that Gary picked for me, and you kind of hate to say that one of your favorites on the project is one thing because that taken the wrong way, but you don't mean it that way. But I got to sing a song called "Nobody's Too Broken," and it's been really special because we've got to start deliver it in concert. And as humans, there's something ingrained in us that we measure. We don't even mean to, but we measure what we deserve and what we don't deserve, what we're worthy of, what we're not worthy of. We don't need to. We don't even realize we're doing it a lot of times. And I think so many people have missed the throne. They've missed the gospel because they thought they didn't deserve it. And what the song is just reinforcing is that nobody can deserve it, but also nobody is too broken. Nobody's too far away. Nobody's done too much. We all get to enjoy that and get to live in that salvation because of who God is and how great He is, despite ourselves. And I think that's a really special message.
Grace.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. Grace. Yeah.
Re-theme throughout the whole project. It's hard to pick a favorite. I have different favorites for different reasons. But I will say this: the one that just really stuck with me through the whole process was a song that was written by Susie Smith and Diane Wilkinson, called "Three Little Words," and just the way the writing is amazing, which with those two you would expect it to be nothing short of brilliant, and it's clever. So clever and its presentation. But on top of it, the production talents of Wayne Hahn came into play at that point because he gave us something that challenged us, and which is fun for us. We like to be challenged, and so singing the song then became fun. And so it's a great little happy tune, and so that one has really stuck with me. And every time I share it with somebody, whether it's family, friends, whatever, I get a call back the next day, and they're going, "Hey, thanks for that. I can't get it, and it's still in my head." So I love it. But it's a great tune. But,
I think what I've always loved about the team on the bus, and Gary kind of being the head, not kind of being the head of that team. He's always allowed all of the guys to have a say, to have input.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with other people's different processes. Some groups, one person picks all the songs and that's it. And in other groups, everybody kind of has a say. And we've always had the freedom to allow songs to speak to us and say, hey, can we bring them to the table? And for me, it was, of course, I agree with Ian. It's hard to say one that you performed, but for me, it was a song called Glory. And I don't think I've had a song affect me quite like that. I've always had an affinity for songs that speak to the character of God, that speak to the person of God, that speaks to their love, his love for us.
Yeah.
And in return, our thanks and our love to him. And it's a powerful picture that Ronnie Griffin and Mark Mathis created, and I'm just thrilled to have been able to have a part of that song. Yeah.
Okay.
So with we're going to reverse that question. You gave us your favorite. Now, is there one that you get on stage and you go, oh, we got to sing this song? It could be just because it's either hard or it's just, all right, it's a song we like, but I don't want to say despise. Well, I figured, but I don't want to say despise, but it's a hard one, and man, I hope we don't mess it up. Anything like that?
Yeah, there's several. They're called the high ones.
Honestly, the only time we have any angst about any song is generally if we're having physically a rough day.
Yeah.
That's for anybody,
Something that we do in choosing songs that I always keep in mind is, do I want to be singing these songs 20 years down the road?
Right.
And that is part of my process of choosing songs, because even when we're long gone, them songs will be sung by others.
Yeah. Right.
And so I think that's important in the song selection. And I think that's the reason why to answer your question, really, if we're physically not feeling well, yes, that's a challenge. But as far as the lyrics and the melody of the songs, we make sure that we choose songs that we would like to sing 20 years down the road. And when we are no longer able to do it, whoever takes the mantle and moves forward, they can still sing the songs. Because we live with them, our families will live with them when we're long gone.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you guys mentioned Rodney Griffith. You mentioned, goodness, I don't forgot now who all you did mention.
Yes.
But these are not just run of the mill writers either. These are people that really have a connection with God, and that have a way of kind of letting God speak through them. And so that lends to that process that you're talking about. This is not just some toe tapping song that's gonna, it's gonna pan out in a couple of years, but something that really gets a hold of the heart. Like Josh, you talked about that. Ian, I think it was you that mentioned that gospel. So, that really is at the heart of what you guys are doing, is sharing the gospel. And so we most definitely can't discount that, because though it's old story, one songwriter said it will be the new song one of these days. So,
That's so true.
Hey, let me ask you this. Gary, you mentioned during COVID, and I'll be honest with you, I get tired of even thinking about those few years, but how did you guys survive? I realize by faith, by trusting God. Some guys, they started in real estate, some started construction, some did this, some did that. And I can't fault them for it, but did you guys have to revert to some other things?
We did not. We did not. We actually was able to, when we were down for COVID, that was when we recorded our quartet series project.
Mm-hmm.
And we took time to focus on the ministry, things that we could get done while we weren't traveling. God saw fit for the money to come in. And my little back history of me, I used to be assistant corporate controller for a company. So I'm always planning ahead. So I planned ahead for a time like that, not knowing what was happening. So just trying to make great business decisions in the previous years helped us, with God's help, and the folks would send in donations. They were so kind to us, and we just got through it.
It really was utterly the grace of God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I went to Walmart and got one of those plastic looms and sold pot holders.
oh goodness.
Nice.
My 12-year-old daughter tried that as
Y'all
well.
have prayer requests on the radio. Will y'all pray for me?
Yes, please. Please bring it on. So there's a question that, I'm going to go out of the box. And Josh, people have asked you, I've watched interview after interview of people asking you, where do you get this accent from? Okay. And so I know the answer to that question. It's not an accent. You just try to enunciate. And I wish I had thought about this before I started asking it. But there is a song that you sing, and this is a few albums ago.
Good News from Jerusalem.
No, not that one. Hold Please. I tell you what,
I don't remember Hold Please.
I tell you what, while I'm thinking about this, let's ask another question. Influences, especially Josh, piano influences.
Oh, well, I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, Anthony Berger, Roger Bennett, Jeff Stice, Stan Whitmire, Tim Parton, Tracy Phillips. There's a barrage of them. Dino Katsanakis. It's in the gospel world. Now, I was a classical student.
I've helped you single note stuff. Incredible.
I do too. It's awesome. It's great.
I mean, before you left the gospel
That's
world.
true. He helped them, but let's put it that way.
Gary, I'm praying right now.
In the secular world, oh man, the list is on and on. Victor Borga, Dave Brubeck, Ellis Marsalis, Oscar Peterson, Art Tatum, and Harry Connick Jr. Yeah, was a big one. All of the list is massive. It doesn't stop. As an artist, you listen and you become fans of new artists all the time, and they constantly influencing every decision that you're making musically. So
what age group did you start, or what age did you start playing the piano, Josh?
5.
5. Wow. Yeah.
And I distinctly remember the split second of decision making when my parents asked me, because they were going to pay for lessons, when they said, "Is this something you really want to do?" And I remember a split second debate, and then saying, "Yeah." And we went with it. Yeah.
It's a good decision. It's good because you're one of my favorite piano players. Besides, now I got to say my wife is my favorite because I live with her, and so happy wife, happy life, that whole situation. So
And let me add in this. Thank you all for what you do.
Yeah,
Not only for Tribute Quartet, but for gospel music community, our family. We're all one big family, and we could not do what we do without your support, and it means a lot.
It does.
Yes, sir.
And we don't do that.
No, not at all.
we appreciate that. Yeah. Because I'm going to tell you, and what was it, Jamie? 2017, Gary, we interviewed you at National Quartet Convention. And it wasn't long. I think it wasn't before the interview, Jamie, or after. They were actually singing a song. And and I didn't know it at the time who it was singing because I just couldn't hear it. So we went in and looked, and y'all were singing. But before we walked in, I said, "Who is that guy singing, man? He sounds like Frank Sinatra." And it's Josh singing a song. And I went, "Holy cow." But you guys have stuck in our minds and in our memories, because we started Southern Gospel Point of View, what, Jamie?
2017, just before the NQC.
Just before the NQC. And you guys were one of our first interviews, and we've never forgot it. I mean, we've archived it. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And if there's anything we can ever do, just let us know.
Most
Absolutely.
definitely.
Hey, I know we're out of time. Do you care, Josh, if I play you just a snippet and let you comment, and then we'll let you go?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's the word victory, and it's from Somebody Sing Me That Song.
Somebody sing me that song about victory.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to close it off. If you close off the vowel, victory, if you do that, you lose your pitch. And I'm in the part of my range there, so I have to be sure I keep the right amount of room and not close off so much, because it victory is going to be flat.
Okay, so
about victory. Yeah.
See, and Libby Stuffle does that on the same word on a different song that the Perrys sing. And I'm like, what is the deal? And so as I'm singing along with you, I'm victorious.
Here's a good way to look at it. Would you rather me be off pitch or on?
No, you did it wonderfully. It sounds beautiful.
No, his question was, does that guy know how to spell and sound out words?
At least now I know the method behind the madness, so it makes a whole lot more sense.
Modification.
Okay. Hey, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Hope you have a great day.
You too. God bless.
God bless you guys.
All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us today. You just heard the interview that we did with the guys from Tribute Quartet. And I'll tell you a funny story. I posted on Facebook. I can't remember if I posted that we were going to interview them, or maybe we just had, or whatever. And my mom sent me she called me and she said, "Did you get my message?" And I said, "No, Mom, I didn't." And my mom is technologically challenged. And she said, "I saw you were interviewing that group from Sevierville." And I said, "Huh." She said, "The one that Eric Bennett sings with." And I said, "No, I don't." "Yeah, you just posted about it." And so I just kind of let her talk. And she said, "I just love to hear Eric Bennett sing bass." And she said, they used to be he used to be with the Kingdom Airs and just on and on. And I'm like, "Mom, no, I've not talked to Tribute or Triumphant Quartet. I talked to Tribute Quartet." And she said, "Oh, are that not the same people?" I said, "Well, no, they're not the same people." And so she said, "Well, still, I'm glad you got to talk to them." And she said, next time you talk to Eric Bennett, tell him I said, hey." I'm like, I've never talked to him to begin with. So it'll be a first time. So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. My precious mother,
awesome.
Bless her heart.
I know. I'm telling you, I told Amanda, my wife, and my kids, I was like, "Yeah, we just did an interview with Tribute Quartet," and one of my kids was like, "How do they know you?" And I was like, "Well, they really don't. I know we know them." And he was like, "Then why are you talking to them? They don't want you to talk to them."
Yeah.
I was like, "Y'all are lovely people. I mean, I just want to let y'all know your daddy can be important, okay?"
Well, I don't know if there's any importance to what you and I do, but the fact, the fact that we do get to talk to these folks is important to us.
Yeah.
And the fact that our lovely families, our brides, and our offspring, they care not a bit about what we do.
They just want to listen to their music. That's it. They're like, "We don't care what you talk to them about." Some of them. Now I do have one that's like, "Oh, that's cool," but the other ones are like, "No, we just listen to their music. They're good." Yeah. So I'm like, okay.
The fact that they don't care, it's kind of hurtful. Depressing, discouraging.
But we could tell our friends, our friends outside of our house, and they think it's cool. They think it's like, "Hey, man, that's awesome."
Some of them, yeah. Usually it's the people that I don't know that are more excited about it than the people that I do know. Maybe it's because the people that I do know in my family, they hear my voice all the time, and they really don't want to hear it on their earphones or play it in the car.
I know what it is with all these people, all our families. They're just jealous. They're jealous.
What it is. That's what it is. Listen, hey, so we talked to Gary Casto, Josh Singletary, Gus and I never pronounce his name right, so I do apologize, but I'm going to say it the way South Georgia says it. Gus Gatches, however you want to say it. Ian Owens. We talked to them, and we do hope that you will listen to their music, their brand new album, Always Grace. It dropped, I believe, January 27th, I believe is the date. So it is fully available. I have purchased the album and I've listened to it on repeat since the day that it came out. So very, very good songs. They all do something different on it. So they've each got their songs. So I think you'll really enjoy it. But Reggie, let's get out of here, okay? So
right.
You got anything else to say before we head out?
No, sir, man. It's been a great show. I appreciate it, and I appreciate Tribute Quartet giving us the time for the interview. It was fantastic, and they did a great job as always.
All right. So, guys, don't forget, like, share, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of that kind of stuff, please, if you will. And then, by all means, please subscribe to this podcast and to our YouTube. And again, share it. But if you want to get in contact with us, you can text us at this phone number, or you can call it and leave us a voicemail. The phone number is 865-315-7996. So I do hope that you'll do that. God bless you. Until next time, I'm James. And up in Sevierville, I've got Mr. Reggie Taylor. And Reggie, together you and I are Southern Gospel Point of View.